they're the ones pulling their team across the finish line.
Well, you talked about wanting to see first pick. This time, DMO are on blue as you requested.
Aphelios is open. Aphelios?
Aphelios is worth it.
Yes,
and Shubin has been a lover of it.
I mean, both of these 80 carries, it's their second most played after Ashe. But no, so DMO do feel the pressure to take away the Graves from Meteor. So this will be Xiaopeng's third time on the champion.
Watch Wings pick up Aphelios. And then Shubin's going to be gifted Ashe.
If BLG, I was going to say if BLG pick Ashe here, though.
I mean, because Wings has loved this. Oh,
Yeah.
I got to say, Shubin's loved it as well. Both of them. Pick one of them.
Well, there we go. That's
Okay.
what we wanted to see. That's what we were waiting to say anything for, was the expected pick. Like I said, by the fact that Varus and Ezreal have kind of fallen down a peg, and even before this patch, a lot of teams in the LPL didn't care a lot about Ezreal. They felt like his laning phase just wasn't there, and that's why they were gravitating more towards things like Ashes.
Yeah.
But, yep, we do get the main man, Mr. 200 himself, along with the Trundle.
But instead of going the path of the Ashe, the Kalista here. Now, I'm looking across the board. I'm looking at Shubin. He's only played one game of Kalista. So instead of looking at something like the Varus, which we talked about at the start of the show, Shubin's decided to go this path.
I mean, it's going to be extremely aggressive early game AD carry. Obviously, we have seen some teams gravitate towards this champion. EDG is the one that jumps out to me and have done extremely well playing around, you know, Kalista X bot lanes, whether it's Kalista Set, Kalista Thresh, you know, whatever aggressive support you want. And it's going to be nice to see how DMO plays with it. The great thing about DMO's comp thus far, at least, is we have damage, right? We have Xiaopeng in the carry role. We have Shubin in more of a damage-oriented role. Twyla, though, going to go back towards that supportive style with the Karma. Of course, it is a flex, but it does scream Twyla to me.
Yeah, at this point. Yeah, looking at the tanks or the bigger members down the bottom lane for Yui, while one for Shinmo picked up in the Nautilus, his most played. So a standard bottom lane for BLG. Let's get to second bans because we need some solo laners across the board here, Lyric. Another solo laner for DMO, I should say.
Yep, but still, DMO are going to wait out to see what BLG pick up on 4 since, I mean, you would expect BLG to pick mid on 4 since DMO have already showed Karma and then just last pick for King. I even feel like it just suits their team's play style much better. And banning out things like the Set and even potentially the Leona next, I feel like makes a lot of sense for what BLG are going with. Just ban out bottom laners that pair really well with the Kalista.
I like the DMO. I like, you know, we're not giving you Camille again. Some priority on the solo lane that hurt them a lot.
Yep, so there's the Thresh ban. So now that really leaves something like the Leona over for Yui in the bottom side for DMO.
Another solo laner here. We talked about this in LPL. It's normally one of each role that's left open, but the Jax will follow up as well. Okay, so a lot of pressure put onto Kingen.
Oh, and yeah, this is something that's gone through draft the whole time. Would be a nice pickup. I was just thinking, things you can pick into the Karma are the Orianna. You could go with something like a Galio, but I don't like Galio Trundle playing the more Peel-style Galio. Great to see BLG hovering the Syndra, and it's something that does go toe-to-toe with the Karma. Of course, Karma does a push priority early on, but
this is our most played mid laner in the LPL. Other regions are looking at a lot of TF, Orianna, Zoe. Syndra has been our top pick. Surprised to make it all the way through. Well, let's look over to DMO quickly, because now that the Leona's there, definitely going to be the Karma mid again. They want to put some engage. They want to put a Bruiser top.
Yeah, I mean, we said Wukong, Volibear, Ornn. That is what Shalitza has been playing all split. It's what he's going to stick with. So we have a really well-rounded comp for DMO this time around. We have good engage. We have good front line. We have Twyla supporting them in the mid lane, and great damage sources coming out from both Xiaopeng and Shubin. And at the same vein, for BLG, very standard composition coming out for them, right? We have the Ornn top side. We have the this is, I'd say, S tier in 4 roles here in the LPL.
Yeah.
And then you have a Nautilus, which, I mean, I don't feel like there's not really an S tier support. Maybe you could say Thresh, but
I think there's an S tier grouping.
Yes, I mean, exactly. You can say like Thresh, Leona, Nautilus.
And then maybe Set goes to like A+.
Yeah. Even Trundle, I'm not sure if we should really consider him S, but LPL teams consider him S, right?
Yeah.
We see them draft him early every time. So BLG having a ton of power picks, but still, DMO actually having a lot more coherent of a comp this time than the last game.
Yes, they are. And you know what? I can look at this comp and go, all right, that piques my curiosity. I see the damage. I see the potential for the Karma to actually add something to the comp this time around as well with the double AD carry.
Yeah, and at the same time, we do expect DMO to play from like mid priority, since again Karma pushes pretty much every lane matchup.
Yep.
Support Graves, looking for these aggressive invades and plays on the bottom half of the map, since that is where your power with the Kalista is as well. And on the side of BLG, you take it slow. I don't actually feel like you feel the need to make any proactive, aggressive plays. At the level 6 mark, you can look for a gank on Karma. Even level 2, actually, you can try and blow her flash. It will be a bit hard to guarantee that. Karma's an extremely safe champion, but your job is really just to stop DMO from, snowballing the bottom half of the map. Let your team scale up. You have the Aphelios, you have the Syndra, you have Ornn items coming out later. So for the side of DMO, it's about attacking the mid and bottom half of the map. For the side of BLG, it's shadow, stall, create time for your team to become this big late game 5v5 monster.
All right, well, let's go into the Rift. If DMO are looking mid to bot, then we'll see if they can start this ball rolling, because in game 1, BLG took a step back and brought the game at their pace. And DMO couldn't really do too much, as Colonel says it's time for a DMO win. He's favouring the Twyla and Fofo matchup here, as you talked about. Twyla will push in early, and then Fofo, once we get towards that 6 mark as well, a bit more kill threat. Especially when we see what the mid 2v2 is. Pillar, Scout of the Week, very easy to execute. If DMO can find anything here, well, they're just waiting. They're thinking there's going to be an invade. Everyone's grouping up. Where are we going? Pings? Oh, they're doing it. Wings. Fofo just in time. Maybe slowed down, but that's just a bit of damage as the lane starts delivering.
Oh, still, and DMO gonna commit to it. They do have a really strong level 1, of course. We know Kalista with Halo Blades from last split. Extremely potent level 1 champion. We saw Twyla hovering with the pressure he has in mid lane. And going back to what you were saying about mid matchup before, Fofo will never really have strong kill pressure on Twyla. He's always going to have that E-shield to protect him from the burst from Syndra, and of course going Unsealed Spellbook as well. So
sure,
going to have that utility later on to switch to something like a heal or a barrier if he ever feels pressured.
As Conqueror Nautilus from Shinmo as well. The new skin that's just come out.
Oh, I thought you meant the rune. I'm like,
no,
what are you seeing?
No. The newest Nautilus skin. I know you're an analyst. You don't talk about skins.
Wait, there's a new Nautilus skin?
Yeah. The Conqueror Nautilus is the last one that's just come out. I forgot it goes towards... What does it go towards? I don't know. It's hard. My clients just turned back to Chinese, so it's very hard to read everything. Also known as I can read 1 character out of every 10.
Also, let's note that Xiaopeng is pathing towards topside, and we did say he wants to play through mid and bot. Even looking at the minimap, right, that's where their strong neutral pushing lanes are right now. Yep. Typically, if you do see a gank towards your weak side, towards the top side of the map, it is like early on, right? Because whether you're going to get Ornn or Wukong ahead, it's not going to be some game-changing thing to how you play out the map. It's just going to be a lot more about, let's say, luxury gold or trying to set someone behind rather than set your own tank ahead.
That's a good point, actually.
It's because a lot of times we do see these level 3 and 4 ganks top, but they never really amount to much pressure. It could turn into a TP advantage, which then can set up for a play on Dragon or invading the enemy blue when it does respawn, something along those lines.
Just while we are talking about junglers, note that Xiaopeng has triple buffed because he picked up the blue from the invade, goes up to his own after clearing all the bottom sides. So there is an experience lead, and
double scuttle for DMO as well.
That's true. Bottom lane going to benefit off this greatly. So a really good early game to start off with here for DMO.
And let's remember what Meteor said before this. He's like, hey, Xiaopeng is really known as an aggressive counter jungling type of player. And, I need to watch out for that. And that's exactly what Xiaopeng's been doing this game.
Talked about needing to enhance his own macro. And they've also been tracking Meteor really, really well throughout the jungle.
Yeah,
he started Wolves and went topside.
Even Ping's just coming off on Meteor right now. I mean, of course, they have a ward now, but still. I feel like realistically they would have known that regardless.
But he's 10 CS behind as now backing is Xiaopeng. So Xiaopeng should... there we go. Skirmishes. Nice and early. Plus, you see what the talisman back is here for Meteor. So he's going to go through and clear the rest of his jungle, but doesn't have much up and available at the moment.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to go towards his... Ooh.
What do you think about this one? Severum's there. Shubin wants to go forward. Halo Blade's doing work. The Severum trade not going to heal him up that much as Twyla even makes them walk down. Meteor aware of this and positioning. But still spot out by that ward. They know exactly where he is.
I expect to see DMO go for an early dragon play. They obviously are heavy trading in the bot lane, so getting BLG's bot lane low, you have constant priority in mid. Dragon's going to spawn in 15 seconds, and whether you're forcing a fight or your team's just taking it outright, definitely seems like what DMO wants to do. And hey, guess what?
Yeah, good movement. It's like you know how to read drafts. Well,
really, I didn't do anything other than see, hey, DMO's bot lane's fighting.
Sometimes
hey,
that's
Dragon's
hard.
coming up.
You know what? Sometimes it's hard. In the heat of the moment, that's pretty hard. As Chalitza probably shouldn't be coming back in. Very low. As Kingen continues to trade like an Ornn does.
And we haven't gotten to see this laning phase, but it definitely should not be this one-sided.
Okay.
And this is a... Man.
Props to Kingen again.
It is props to Kingen, but these are the types of moments where I just really want to go watch the pro view of this lane and just see how it happens.
Well, you can at the very least see that Chalitza's used teleport and Kingen's going to be backing now with Meteor. Having topside attention through his Krugs, but still behind here in the jungle while Kingen picks up a Bammies nice and early. Is that the one you wanted to see, or did you want to see Stoneplate? Sorry, not Stoneplate, Bramble Vest.
You have no reason to pick up Bramble Vest, right? You're just hard outright winning this matchup even without it, so going for this more team-oriented option of just rushing towards that first item Sunfire makes sense to me.
He supports a mid, by the way. And junglers are too. We're 3v3ing, just getting the shove. And Cyclone's going to be used. Knock up on Kingen. We'll find the second mark, but ulti wasn't waited for as here comes Call the Forge God, but doesn't hit it. Kingen just trying to run away, gets grasped, and Chalitza now getting something back in this lane. As Scatter the Weak mid, as backs were gone through by Meteor. Interesting mid lane right now.
Yeah, and also moving back topside, great job by Chalitza to notice his moment. You know, Wukong has a really good level 6 power spike with that ultimate and the armor shred that it does give. So realizing, hey, I can, you know, try to force a really good trade onto Kingen right now. Forces out Kingen's ult as well. Just massive profit from him.
Hey, Xiaopeng now 20 CS ahead, by the way.
Yeah, great job by DMO not only bullying out in the jungle, but specifically for BLG, since we know that Meteor is the crucial member of this team for, you know, where they want to make plays, how they want to play the game. He's a shot caller, and, you know, even coming from team side, if you can set the main voice behind, it becomes very hard for him to see opportunities on the map, right? Because you don't necessarily know what windows your other lanes can play around. You know what windows you can play around.
Yeah, because that's how you have to change your game state, right?
Exactly. I mean... That was a confusing way to word it, but yes.
Yes.
That's,
when you're so focused on yourself, it's hard to focus on others. Is that better? When you're so focused on yourself and bringing yourself back into the game.
There you go. There we go. Okay, I get it.
Okay, all right. I didn't think...
I just needed more words.
I think the second time round was pretty easy.
Hey, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of the people listening probably understood you. I just needed you to go that extra mile.
We have a smart chat. I know that. We got very strong individuals in there.
That's what I love, though, about LPL viewers, is since we are such a niche broadcast, you do have people who do spend a lot more time like looking at, thinking about, reading into the game. And you always read opinions, and whether you agree or not, they're always like, there's always a reasoning behind them. They're very nuanced and interesting.
Like, you know, Fofo's the best mid laner in the LPL right now. I haven't heard that one. But,
I'm like, this is a rabbit hole I'm not willing to go down right now, but...
I do not agree with it, just so everyone knows. Yui?
Ooh, Shubin was taking Krugs, though.
Okay. Well, he's going to be a bit late to the party then. As Kingen now has ult back. Almost
has ult.
Yep. Chalitza has his as well. Griftel should be dropping here, but Yui ready in for Scatter the Weak, or rather Scatter the Weak's used on him. Fate's call for the re-engage. Shubin sends him back in to his death. He flashes away. Not the greatest as Call the Forge God down finally comes through. Cyclone on the backside. A fight on two fronts as Chalitza hits and flashes himself. DMO, you're going to have to play better than that.
So, obviously DMO was just late to the party. They weren't here. I can understand that's why DMO felt pressured to go in. The confusing part to me was why BLG felt so rushed to make a move. We saw, you know, Fofo throw out his Scatter the Weak, not Scatter the Weak, his ultimate extremely early. We saw Wings throw out the Moonlight Vigil too extremely quick, and I don't think BLG needed to feel so pressured to make these moves. They had a good position. They saw Yui was already low. They still get the objective, but ultimately feels like they could have been a bit more patient.
Okay. So BLG going to have to play better than that?
It's kind of funny, because last game they were extremely patient.
Yeah. Just interesting to see everyone throwing out their ultis. and no one dying. Kind of feels like the state of this series where we're testing the waters a little bit more erratically.
Erratically?
Yeah. Sporadic? Erratic.
Are we testing waters?
Isn't that what it feels like to you? You feel like both teams are like, well, not testing each other, but testing what they can get away with?
No.
No? Okay.
I feel like it's kind of the opposite. I feel like both teams are too afraid to find out what they can get away with, actually.
That's true. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take that.
Well, especially for BLG. But,
why did our observer bitter? Focusing on the important things, double control wall down. That's not synergy.
I still love those strats where, you know, teams would do that purposely to kind of try and gain a tempo advantage off that of forcing teams to kill 2 control wards. And then, you know, you can kill a bit of enemy's time.
But the problem is when you have Severum and you press Q, the wards are gone. That's 60 gold. As Fofo in this lane is almost 20 CS up. He's been laning pretty decently against Twilight yet again.
Twilight has been constantly hovering towards his other side lanes, though, so we have seen him trying to... I mean, not even trying. He has been creating pressure by, you know, being in Fog of War, making sure that they always have to question whether he can be there or not.
What you have to do now, while Chalitza up top side is going to get solo turret plating while King and roams down to help secure this dragon.
So we've seen this time around BLG doing a great job of using their priorities and resets to make sure they have advantages when it comes to objectives. So nice to see from BLG this time around, because it felt like last game they could have had that because they had the pressure from their lanes and they just chose not to.
True.
And the weird part last game was the fact that they still postured like they wanted the objective. It's not like they just committed to the other side of the map right away.
Yeah.
But point is, they're not doing that this game. It's nice to see.
And we've got a Herald as well, so if we're talking about that proactivity extending, then I definitely think Meteor is going to be setting that one up in mid.
Bot's fine because you have the Aphelios, but... Oh, I'm going to pause because I feel like we're going to see a gank.
Is Kingen going to die? Sunfire Cape and it's 280 carries. In with Call the Forge God. Trying to run towards River. That's the second time he's used his ult, not send it back, as Meteor's on his way. He gets out, but he's still alive at least.
But going back to your last point about Herald, I'd say the most important time to Herald mid is when the enemy team has extremely good wave clear and you don't really have a good way of breaking down mid turret yourself. The kind of second part of my checklist would be, hey, do they have a global mid to where, you know, putting them under their, you know, inner turret could be extremely valuable, having that vision on them and them not having the amount of space to make their plays necessary.
Okay, well, here's Herald mid up top. Sorry, top. As Kingen about to pick up this gold.
I mean, this one is just... I mean, you look at the amount of plates they have on all the turrets around the map. This one will go down with Herald, so... Makes sense for the side of BLG. Now they have a pressure point they can start playing around, right? Because now Kingen's going to have the freedom to push this lane, hover towards the other side of the map. And this is where we'd want to consistently see Chalitza look for a freeze, but he also has Tiamat, so he's not really going to realistically be able to freeze well.
Why did Wings walk back in? Solar Flare locked down. He does cleanse away and has Flash. Collateral damage doesn't kill him, but probably wouldn't have had to burn that while Herald gets the second charge top.
So both teams trading sides of the map, but hey, guess what? Thanks, Observer. We now see it. Kingen can just walk mid. They can put pressure on this turret, and DMO are going to need to answer.
Should be 2 bits of turret plating.
Fofo still has TP as well, so
and
even if DMO wanted to make plays on bot side, Fofo can always answer extremely quickly.
And you look at what's happened bot. I mean, stopping the turret going down, stopping any more plates going down. This is a win for BLG. This is their gold lead of about 1,000. Now built up.
And like I said, this would be the area where there's no neutral objective on the map. This is where you'd want the community sentiment, the LS sentiment of like, hey, well, now Chalitza can look for a freeze near his turret because there's... I mean, realistically, what can Kingen go do? I guess he can try and force a diver flash with Call of the Forge God, but again, if DMO can play around that accordingly, we'd be able to see Chalitza come back into the game. Isn't able to do that, has Tiamat. We're going to see Kingen be able to use his pressure quite freely of, you know, helping with the Rift Herald, walking mid, opening Call of the Forge God, trying to get Twyla's flash. You have a lot of plays available to you right now for the side of BLG, and not a good way to answer for DMO.
Yeah, a lot of burst now that the Luden's Echo has been picked up here from Fofo over the Athenes. We know that Twyla, the cheaper build path, definitely there as gold plating once again. 960 over to BLG, so a decent time inside the lane while Kingen still controls his top side and We're heading towards the next Rift Herald in under 20 seconds.
Yep, and as you guys can see, Fofo is bot because he is the one that has TP up, so both teams making sure they maintain pressure across the map. Of course, Kingan's going to be able to push in this top lane once again, so Twyla will have to answer.
Xiaopeng moving forward. Now remember, he's had a jungle lead all game, so he does have the Phage over the only first item of Meteor.
Shubin does have Blade of the Rune King as compared to Wings, who hasn't finished his first item.
Yui in, blocked by Shinmo. Solar Flare onto the backline. It does indeed lock up Meteor, who's getting charged on by Xiaopeng. And for DMO's jungler, running forward with collateral damage, maybe the options call the Forge God with a massive flank, but no damage to follow up. And Kingan now has to run on out. Zenith Blade connects once more. DMO are on this Ornn versus 5. Kingan will not be getting out of this one, and First Blood at 15 minutes does go over to DMO. Back onto the Herald with a 4 versus 5, and BLG going to let this one go.
And the crucial thing to highlight is the fact that for DMO, the one at their strongest player right now is Shubin. And for BLG, it's as you're pointing out, Kingan is getting a ton more gold than Chalitza. It does have a ton of tanky stats. Needs to play this frontline role. He wasn't there. He was positioned behind the team because he was pushing out that wave. It allowed for Shubin and the rest of the team to engage onto BLG and equals out to this Rift Herald going down from the side of DMO.
It was the Herald, it was a kill, but it was also mid-turret going down for Wings, notably. So the FLS gets first turret blood and the gold that will complete his Infinity Edge once he picks up the Krugs as well. So watch this again.
And again, just keep your eyes on Kingan. He's not able to walk in. Twyla and the rest of the team does have him cut off, so all of DMO are able to run forward. Xiaopeng gets in there onto Meteor, and then Shinmo just kind of caught out on the side.
Kind of what we talked about with Wings again, where we just saw Wings pacing around the back of the fight, not taking any risks. He was very adamant on staying away from any potential engage.
It's like realistically, I'm sure maybe we can freeze frame that and like look at every potential auto he could have had,
yep.
But with Kingan not there, not playing this frontline tank role, it does feel like it's extremely hard for BLG to take that fight.
Also true, grasping at straws, because for BLG, at the end of the day, nothing really happened bar losing their one member.
Yeah.
Looking at Fofo, a bit of a highlight, 187 CS at 17 minutes in the game, so ahead of the clock by 20. Fofo is as well heading toward that Spellbinder's second.
We have 3-man potential top bot side right now.
Okay. Xiaopeng nearby. He has Herald, so if this goes bad, bottom turret and the push that comes from it could be really good for DMO. But not going to happen here with the play. And instead, Chalitza picks up the wave. They back away. Nothing else on the map. So, you know what we can talk about? Shubin up in gold, competing with Fofo this game.
Yep, and not surprising, right? We did see them when they went for that trade side with the Herald drop top side, them trying to funnel gold onto Shubin. But at the same time, actually gold is pretty much even for Shubin and Wings as we see it, you know, hopping back and forth with both AD carries just catching waves.
Do you think this split has been more like the LCK than any split in the past 2-3 years?
No.
Really? Why? In terms,
but I was going to say, like, what do you mean by that,
At a base level of hang on.
Because if you just mean slow.
Yeah, I do, but maybe that speeds up now. Shinmo going to be tackled on in, Kingan with the flank, and they've found Wings. So for DMO, they will trade the life here of Shubin. 4 versus 4. Shinmo manages to make it out alive. Both AD carries dead. Again, nothing up to fight over. They just wanted to fight.
Yeah, that's the most interesting part because, okay, we're both posturing for vision control, but vision control for what?
It was just time. Time to fight. Well, they did manage to get the most fed member of Shubin, but you gave a kill over to Xiaopeng, who was already so fed over Meteor this game.
But going back to your question.
Yes.
Again, if by LCK you mean slow, I don't think so.
Because we have had a lot less bloodshed. I don't think the game pace itself has been.
But I feel like this is
slow.
like every LPL split I paid attention to where you have certain teams that are very prone to making those proactive plays, like a Rogue Warriors. Then you have those teams that are willing to be extremely slow, like the BLGs, teams like RNG this split. And, you know, here we do see the engage coming out. Xiaopeng able to find the burst on the Wings, but Fofo able to return onto Shubin. But yeah, going back to the point, I don't necessarily feel like this is a slower split.
It's strange because I've been finding myself casting a lot more games like this where teams will reserve, farm up for 1-2 items.
That's because you cast every DMO game.
That is very true.
I cast every Rogue Warriors series.
Okay, well,
Me
that's
and you have
probably
very,
why.
I guess every Rogue Warriors, WE, like me and you have two very different visions of the LPL
I have not
sword.
done much IG. I don't think I've done much top esports, actually.
I've done a bunch of IG, WE, and Rogue Warriors. So I've seen the best and bloodiest that the LPL has to offer.
I've done, like the RNG. I've done LNG.
And RNG is so slow right now. And
Yeah.
again, not even slow, because I don't like the terminology slow, because it is like, are you playing around the windows that your comp has? And the answer for RNG is no. But hey, we get to talk about that a lot later.
Yeah, we do. And IG have the tendency of speeding them up. They actually average 30 kills a game as of last year.
We see DMO. Sorry to
no.
segue over.
This is the team we're talking about.
Speeding up games, dropping Herald mid, which wasn't for a particular reason other than the fact that Herald was about to time out. We're going to see both teams default back to side lanes, though neither team really wants to play around a side lane, right? Chalitza, as he gets more items, will have pressure on Kingen, but realistically won't be threatening inner or inhibitor turrets quite well. And for the same thing with BLG, right? Fofo doesn't really want to be in a side lane. Sure, he might have some kill pressure 1v1, but...
Oh, hang on. Fofo caught out on the men. Flashes over the wall. Twyla does the same. They'll lock him down. Collateral damage is still available as the poke comes through. Xiaopeng doesn't want to aim it down the line, though. And he'll get out alive. Xiaopeng at half health.
And ultimately, this creates enough pressure for them to be able to take this top turret. It's going to be a bit more gold in their pockets. And like you said, going to be a 1-for-1 summoner trade, both Twyla and Fofo burning flash.
You remember what you predicted in this match for the caster predictions? I feel like it would've been
think I did BLG.
I think this is kind of the match where everyone would have. I don't think anyone would do DMO.
All I know is for the next year, I'm the one that did RNG.
Yeah, you are.
And I regret it, but
well,
we gotta live with our mistakes, guys.
Hey,
live with our mistakes.
You know, it's a big night for esports. I believe Gen GT won as well. I shouldn't be talking about
What are you saying?
RNG, IG.
You mean
and then
you mean Griffin and who's not even in the league, which I'm saying Griffin and who's another CK team? Runaway are playing tonight.
Oh yeah.
Griffin and Runaway.
Dude.
So don't leave.
Our audience is like, why are you talking about LCK? Well, feels like it a little bit this game, just for me.
No, it doesn't.
Or maybe it doesn't if we start fighting.
There's going to be a kill right now. Shinmo's going to dredge line forward.
Hang on, Ardent Sensor put on with the shield. This is going to lead the soul point, as there's the dredge line, as you talked about. Fate's call to save his life, lined up by Kingen, who doesn't get the searing charge. Yui's out, but very low himself as backline Wukong for Chalitza, but he's just taken down by Fofo. Yui jumps on in. They may get the dragon on BLG's side, but they want some more blood as well, as Wings runs forward, Twyla dies, and DMO, they cannot deal with this Syndra.
See, guys, there's tons of blood, tons of action. This series is awesome. And now BLG, they're going to a Baron hysterics.
It's off the hook, brother.
Exactly.
We're going to Baron.
This series is on fire. And guess what? There's more potential action because Xiaopeng might come and try and steal this. Who knows what's going to happen?
Anything's possible.
I'm at the edge of my seat.
It is going to be 3 versus 5 as well because teleport available for Chalitza. Twyla will have it as well.
No Cyclone available, though.
But
oh, God,
DMO should go in anyway. Oh, no,
well,
they do.
No Baron.
Okay, teleport burnt. That's a small win.
I kind of feel like I misled everyone.
I feel
like I misled myself, honestly.
I feel like the way that game exploded, this game, sorry.
Well, okay, so here we see
so what's the problem here?
Q forward, and already extremely low.
Look at this flank.
So Yui's already extremely low. Chalitza's coming in, but you already talked about how massive Fofo is. And especially against the Wukong, right? No real inherent MR, just pretty much ults, and he's bursted right away, able to follow up. And at this point, DMO are just in an extremely awkward position. No one's able to jump forward. Yui was already chunked out regardless. No Chalitza. Who can play a frontline role for this team? And, I mean, even coming in, right? We said, as the game went on, BLG definitely favored in these late game team fights.
Yep.
Which I guess this isn't necessarily late game, but even just straight up front to back, I feel like BLG are favored. DMO would have needed to get more off their one-item power spike with the Callista.
You heavily mentioned how the snowball needs to be there for DMO.
Yes.
And how they need to get this game rolling.
And BLG just had to stand there, like stare at DMO aggressively and say, hey, don't do anything to us. And, you know, DMO didn't, and here we are.
We're at a point where 3 kills on the Syndra, 2 items in hand. Fofo hits the scout of the week and someone probably dies.
Anyone dies. Anyone.
Yeah.
Doesn't even, I mean, we even
Karma Shield doesn't matter anymore.
We even look at Yui. He doesn't even have Gargoyle Stoneplate yet, so anyone who is hit by Fofo is just gone.
There you go. Half health onto Yui.
With just Scout of the Week,
Yep.
nothing else.
That Q didn't even touch
It's
him.
more like 40%, but I don't want to call you out for your
That's okay. That's 8.
your rounding.
You're always right. It's not really rounding because you round to 10 usually. It's DMO out in the nick of time. Good that they picked up a turret. This is me being positive because DMO were a bit proactive.
But at the same time, right? I don't like talking about proactivity and stuff like right now. I don't think is massively important for the fact that both these teams need to be standing in front of neutral objectives, right? So neither one has a great way of really attacking the map. You can try to set up some kind of brush play in front of Baron, but we do see at least BLG have a scrying orb available, so that wouldn't be quite good. Even King can face check brushes. It's not too big of a deal. We are definitely waiting for the next dragon to come up before any action happens, unless BLG have the confidence to try and bait out a Baron play, but that doesn't sound very BLG-like to me.
But it does sound like something that could happen.
Sounds possible. Doesn't sound impossible, which...
Hey, here we go. They're walking in the choke. Tubin flashes away. They're all inning. Shinmo's going to take this up. Call the Forge God, lay it down. Chalitza now in for the fight. And Fate's Call is a two-man knock-up. Yui's in all the way. The Wombo lined up with Cyclone. Shinmo has to get out, and the 80 carry down to BLG for 40 seconds.
And that is massive, too. And it's extremely disappointing for the fact that DMO are going to continue to come forward. You have Flash as an 80 carry, and you still get blown up.
Somehow. Well, Wings being down for 20 seconds might influence a sideways push.
It might equal out another turret for the side of DMO.
And gold, technically. Xiaopeng went forward here.
Oh, God.
Well, he's between the turret and the pillar. He's dead. Now, Xiaopeng's been playing great all game until then, as turret will be the trade for his life. Into the backline yet again. There is no Cyclone for Chalitza. Using the last fight as King and gets low. Scatter the week hits 2. Chalitza's clone in the mix.
I feel like the last minute of this game has really symbolized this series to me.
Does anyone know what they're doing?
With Wings getting blown up out of nowhere again.
Okay.
When both teams know what's going to happen, you're both aggressively posturing for this pick. With then Xiaopeng going for that, it's like, hey, like BLG are rotating over, E-ing forward, because it's not like he even just walked forward. He E-ed forward into the tower, under the turret. It's like, hey, I'm fine with him, autoing the turret, but...
You set me up to be toxic. Just a little bit.
I'm being toxic as well.
You are.
Here we see them force out Shubin's flash, and again, you just postured for the engage. You know they're coming in. Keep your eyes on Wings right now. I mean, you even saw that, he had him in his ult, so... Yeah, it's a bit of a question mark. And right there, ease forward. Pillar comes out, Dredgeline comes out. King was already right next to you.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like hitting the turret that close up was fine. It's just the E was questionable. But still, at the same time, these guys are pros. I don't want to talk about basic mistakes like that. It happens.
Yep, it does happen. Well, BLG reset and they get a dragon that heads towards Infernal Soul next. So there's that. They have the inner track mid, and Shubin by himself. King ability to dive is pretty high right now as Shuriken's at the ready, and BLG are going to keep marching it down.
It's because, I was going to say Twyla and Chalitza are both on the side. Both do have TP up right now.
Going to be used right in front of their eyes. Is there one for the flank?
Chalitza's actually just coming around for the flank himself. Okay. He does have Cyclone available.
Spotted on the first ward. Second ward here as well. BLG pathing upwards. And they're out.
Let's remember that Shubin doesn't have flash. Wings still does.
Ooh, Yui flash for flash here onto Fofo. That's worth if they can make something out of it. Okay, reset again. No, we're not resetting. DMO want to go forward.
DMO have a massive wave in the top side as well.
Solar Flare there as well. And when they see Wings responding to it, they're going to keep pushing mid as they scatter the weeks. Kind of stop that transition. Problem is their wave's not there yet. And Fofo's still nearby. And that's the end of the play. So you can see DMO trying to be proactive here as much as possible. And,
I mean, that was DMO just making a massive
error.
Exactly, with sending Twyla and Chalitza to the side waves, pushing out extremely aggressive past the neutral point of the map, giving BLG so much time to push in mid. And it's actually really funny how turrets are even. Gold is pretty much dead even. And I mean, now, for no reason at all, no analytical prowess, I'm just going to guess DMO are going to get a dragon just to even out those as well.
Okay.
Then we're going to come to some big team fight for Soul. Again, not next dragon, but the
and
following
you know what?
dragon.
It's going to be based on a steal, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like both teams are going to end up not get it. So 9 people will be dead. 1 member of DMO will come out alive. They will then get Soul. Like, you know, however many minutes later after a couple Barons, then BLG will be the ones to take Elder, and BLG will win.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Sick.
Not rooted in any analysis or deep level thinking. Just
look forward to that.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a how's you going for an objective is let's start one to speak of the devil. Now with Wings, with 3 items, they will do this quick.
Chalitza doesn't have a great ward to flank from. I assume he'll just come to that control ward.
Baron's coming down, right the ward in front as Yui against the pillar, pulled on in. Scatter the Weak hits 2 on Chalitza. 2-man knock up again from King, and they pull off of the Baron. Bit of poke damage coming down from Wings as Chalitza still hanging off on the angle. They actually don't see him. Call the Forge God there. And now to lay it down, Chalitza in with a perfect angle onto Wings. They walk into this choke. It's a 3-man knock-up double. Cyclone onto BLG. They're devastated here. Fofo can't even kill the support. And Chalitza brings that one to DMO's eyes. As even through the bottom lane, DMO winning the teleport down. King only just makes it out alive. As Meteor dead from Shubin. Yes, he is. Fofo onto Xiaopeng. The Graves will only just survive as Fofo does as well.
But now DMO should be the ones who can take this Baron. And that pretty much exploded out of nowhere. Let's remember that BLG were the ones threatening that Baron. And then just a small oversight of them not noticing the route Chalitza kind of exited. Set up for that perfect flank.
Chalitza has one play. And he brings DMO into a gold lead here in the second game. We're at 4,000 gold. And Baron now in hand.
Chalitza was just like walking down the street and saw, you know, like
$50.
No, I was going to say like a suit, like one of those mafia suitcases full of like thousands and thousands. And, you know, of course he just picked it up. Because look, I mean, this is just set up for him so perfectly. They all just run forward, Call the Forge God comes out. Just look at how great this angle is with Fofo Wings. Everyone just grouped up. We also see Shubin throwing Yui. And I mean, this is just as easy as it gets for the side of DMO to clean this one up.
Fofo and King are the only ones left alive. And confidence from DMO out of this fight.
I'm just saying, though, when you pick up sketchy suitcase mafia money, the mafia does always come back looking for it.
They say who took the money.
Exactly.
And some reason there's like a street camera that's like, it's that guy.
Someone's it's not
it's
not a street camera. No, what it is there's some like really rundown liquor store, and like the owner of that shop has like a camera outside their shop.
Yeah.
And you know they kind of
he's like, I can't get my camera around, and you know that's when the gun comes out.
They mess him up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
You know. Maybe they hurt his family, and then they find out. But at the same time, the point is DMO can't feel safe.
No, they can't. Wait, so is BLG the Mafia?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I kind of lost myself. I thought they were like
Chalitza found the Mafia money.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Hey, and I said DMO are going to get this. We are now on soul point for both teams.
We are, but BLG want to fight. Maybe not. Kingen is going to run away, and they handshake. Actually, they're going to go bot. Look at bot. There are waves pushing in, and DMO are running as a group. BLG aware of this, but this is going to be a race to the finish line.
I was so afraid of Wings taking that path into his own base.
Kingen wants to start a fight here. Searing Charge does get a knock-up. Pillar against the wall. He flashes away. And for BLG, even in their own base, they're getting pushed back. Inhibitor going down, and okay, DMO now backing away themselves. Meteor with the pillar sends up Twyla. But they get what they came for, which was the inhibitor. But look at mid. Mid's doing the same thing.
Yeah, we see BLG pinging down onto mid lane, pinging that inhibitor, but
I think they're just excited.
Not going to turn that into anything. And
so if you kill the Mafia first, then there's no one to give the money back to, right?
Remember my first prediction where I said we're going to go to an Elder fight? So, well, I guess I was already wrong. Wait, no, first we have the soul fight. So first, nine people on the map are going to die.
All right.
And we're just going to guess Twyla is going to single-handedly secure Infernal Soul.
Okay.
Then, you know, we're gonna posture. Another team's going to... BLG will rush a Baron. BLG's going to get Baron buff. We're going to posture a bit more. Elder will then come up. Both teams will fight to the death. Fofo hits a massive ult onto Xiaopeng or Shubin.
Yeah.
We'll get like a 5-man Moonlight Vigil as well. BLG will get Elder and then close out the game.
I was going to say like a 5-man scatter the week.
Let's go.
And, you know, ults one person. And this
So
Flame
a
Horizon
five-man Call of the Forge God into a five-man Scout of the Week, setting up the Nautilus Ultimate to also knock up 5 people, then massive Moonlight Vigil, and then just to, you know, add in a bit of flair, Trundle also throwing in a pillar in the middle of all of it.
That's it. Okay. Or Xiaopeng goes in 1 versus 5 and kills everyone.
Or DMO use their inhib pressure bot, play around top and mid, look for a pick onto BLG if one of them face check their own jungle.
This sounds real.
And then when next dragon comes up, they just use the side wave control to go and take that dragon.
So what you're saying is this is actually a play.
No, I like my prediction.
Yeah, I think I don't like it when it's real.
Yeah, me too.
It's too close.
Did you see Redemption coming in for Twilo this time around?
Yeah. I was going to talk about builds quickly while we have that quick lull. 4 items on the Graves. He's gone for the Lord Dominix.
I mean, yeah. And the thing I like about items and talking about moving back to Redemption for a second is the fact that we expect fights to be very long, drawn-out, extended skirmishes. Both teams very tanky. Both teams having the sustain and survivability tools there. As we saw.
Yeah.
No one is going down anytime soon.
However, Shinmo was close, though. He walked too far forward. Got hit pretty hard by Shubin, who's on almost 4 items himself.
Was he close if he didn't have to use a stone plate?
Yeah. No, wasn't close.
That was a question. That was not me calling you out.
Yeah, no. I was kind of contemplating in my own head. What else takes the cake on these item builds?
Looks like a big sum of nothing.
Big sum of nothing?
Looks like a...
Hey, we got double Flame Horizon, though. We've got 1 here for Fofo, and we've got 1 for Xiaopeng. Not a bad way to go.
3K gold lead for the side of DMO, and...
What a slow game this is. Don't ever say this is not slow.
I didn't say this wasn't slow.
You criticized me earlier on.
I did not criticize you.
Are you sure? It sounded like it.
What, when you asked me if we're like the LCK now?
Oh, no, that was fine. That was a discussion.
Oh.
Hey, people disagreeing with me, I'm actually so okay with it, just for record.
He really is.
I actually kind of enjoy it sometimes. It's, Yui. Bit of a boo-boo, but he manages to get out of that. Red buff taken away. Wings is, yeah, here we go.
But this is what we wanted to see, right? We were actually just going to get around talking about this, that this is where we need to see Wings start taking that carry role that we set up at the start of the day. He needs to be able to walk forward aggressively, trust in his frontliners to peel for him, and be willing to put out the damage onto members like Chalitza and Yui and then start breaking down the front line of DMO. Let's also remember that even DMO's carries are not very long-range carries, right?
Yeah.
Both Kalista and Graves need to get in your face to deal damage. So this is really going to come down to Wings and Fofo to step up, believe in their team. You know, Fofo hit the Scout of the Weeks. Wings hit the Moonlight Vigil. They really come out ahead.
Everything in a choke feels pretty good for BLG.
So to sum it up, as many LPL pros have said,
Yui.
BLG need to hit their abilities to win this game.
And DMO need to hit theirs too?
Yes. DMO need to dodge those abilities.
It's down to execution.
Oh, God, I was wrong. I said BLG were going to trade Baron.
I feel like Soul might be worthwhile for BLG.
Of course it is.
Okay.
Chalitza does have TP, and they are pinging the wave.
Meanwhile, base. TP play. Chalitza go and end the game. Okay, Baron down. Fight misses as Shinmo call the Forge God layers onto 2. This could be the time here to make a decision. Chalitza's in the middle of the pit. BLG backing away. Look at where Chalitza is. Do it. Do it. You're an LPL player.
Oh. Well,
not exciting.
I mean, I'm more disappointed in BLG. Just walk forward aggressively. Triple Infernal Aphelios. Let's go.
Yeah.
We've all seen the clips.
He's huge.
But instead, we're going to clear out some waves. I mean, I guess it's good, right? Their inhibitor came back up. They can now manage the minions coming into their base.
Did lose a Nexus turret, though. Or at least
no,
got close to losing
didn't.
one. They got close. That's why I was waiting. You know, if you're in that situation, would you TP to the Nexus turret?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would my team then probably lose the game because of it? Absolutely.
Or maybe. I don't know. I feel like Chalitza could have ended.
Ooh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you just got to be ambitious enough. Hey.
So, the more ambitious you are, the faster you can kill structures?
Dude, it's a Wukong. Wukong's clone now hits turrets. If he had Infernal Soul, he could have ended. Yeah.
I don't think that would matter at all.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. We're heading towards 40 minutes.
We're heading towards 3 games, guys.
Here we are. Baron in hand. And Inhibitors all up, but waves getting managed nicely. BLG are waiting for a pick. Who makes the mistake?
Yep. So to sum it up, right, that really is what this game's down to at this point. It is down to who makes a mistake, because at the same time, both teams want to play out this 5v5 style. They both want to group in front of the objective. They both need to play as a team. So sure, maybe we'll see DMO, since they're the ones who control the map right now, kind of branch out into trying to push out all 3 lanes at once, but then they're definitely going to come together as a 5-man. And I'm going to assume we're going to wait until Elder, but maybe DMO, being the ambitious 1-9 team they are, will just push aggressively down mid with their Baron.
Maybe.
That's what I hope for.
Here he comes.
Let's go.
A minute left. Setting up the wave.
And, you know, just for anyone out there, if they don't realize, this game is really going to come down to just one team fight. Whoever comes out on top of the next fight should be able to close out this game quite handedly.
Especially when we went towards all items in inventory for Wings and Shubin.
What if both supports just go down, and then we're stuck like this?
Oh, no. In limbo. Why'd you say that? Because that's what we've seen so far.
Okay, Yui posturing forward aggressively. Okay, shield coming out.
Okay. Everyone back away.
Yui is clicking his mouse forward, I can confirm.
He's thinking about it. No one's really talking on Meteor and Xiaopeng. Oh, Xiaopeng. He's saying something.
Chalitza actually has a decent flank angle.
Okay, again. But is spotted out by the Ornn, who gets the charge. Fofo Scout of the Week is only onto the clone.
I guess it's easy to be spotted out when you're pushing the wave and, you know,
if you're in the minion wave,
actively showing.
You will be spotted out. All right, now we're going to back away. Baron's up at the same time as Elder. But I feel like if you're BLG, you're just like,
I mean, come on.
Elder, let's not get Baron.
Is this a conversation?
Dude, if one team prioritizes Baron, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Both sides have decent wave clear as well. So,
yeah.
As we can see by DMO trying to push mid with Baron, it's not easy to break down structures on either side, and it's not easy to force a team to come out of their base until Elder or Baron are up.
This action replay.
Like here.
Flash, I guess.
Okay, so BLG taking the red buff, but I was going to say, you realistically don't even need to come out of your base for this yet. There's no end-all, be-all objective until that Elder does come up. So, we are 6 items for both AD carries.
I guess what was influential from that play is Chalitza not having flash is part of his engage stall. So, to summon a spell to highlight as Fofo. He's going to sell his boots here, Lyric. Watch. No, wait, no. He's got a needlessly large rod. Rabadons? Not yet. But double Warmogs on the side of BLG.
Gonna sell his boots.
I thought he was all the way full. He is large. Oh, Yui against the wall. That's inconvenient. That pillar was really nice.
Ooh.
Means he gets knocked up.
He's a tank, though.
Oh, collateral damage. And Aphelios things. Healing from Karma helps out. Yui slowed down again. Okay, that was an unsealed spellbook heal. Don't worry. From Twyla.
And at this point in the game, collateral damage will be back up by the time Elder has spawned, so that's why DMO are fine just backing off from this. Oh!
Wants to go into Chalitza. Well, it's a clone. Subjugate. Not being used. Sorry, but maybe soon. Backing away. Ward's put down. BLG are sick of this. They want to run it down mid. Go Kingen. Oh, charges away. Chalitza, that's a real one. Blast Cone Rift. Meteor. Yui again. Scatter the Weak. Hang on. Yui might die. Fate's Call saves his like. And Call the Forge God going to be laid down here. Kingen has used his stone plate. But nothing's happened. More pillars and parking cones come out. If I was an officer, I'd give him a fine as Twyla flashes away. Inhibitor goes down. 20 seconds still Elder. And now the real fight begins, I guess.
Still, important thing to note is Twyla lost Flash, but Kingen doesn't have Call of the Forge God, so that consistent engage option BLG has isn't there. You're pretty much relying on Meteor to pillar into a dredge line from Shinmo.
Okay. DMO don't have position here. Kingen finds a 2-man knock up. Shinmo in for the flank on Chalitza as he's spotted on out. The GA will keep him safe if he goes down, but doesn't have to burn it. Yui scatter the weak once again. He's always in the front line as they get Twyla with this one, who burnt Flash in the previous engage. Solar Flare down. Chalitza spotted out once more, trying to get his angle. Shubin in the river. Even with GA, he's going to go down as well. Chalitza marks his way forward, but BLG are going to win this fight. because DMO sent their 80 carry in first. And what a way to end the game when you decide that you should be running in like that. What the
it's
hell?
Okay, it's there. We're all like that, but ultimately, BLG found the front and back they needed with, you know, Chalitza not able to get on the back line, Wings able to dish out the free damage, and like you said, Schubin kind of was the front line in that fight, so wasn't too hard for BLG to find him.
We waited all that time for that fight. That was like watching The Last Airbender in the cinemas. Bit of a disappointment. And you wouldn't see it again.
That was, I feel like BLG's faces really described that victory to them. A frustrating one to say the least. Good to see Meteor and